Welcome to you all for the simple machine part 2 of class 6 from physics. So now we will talk about some simple machines. First we have talked about some terms are used there in simple machines in part 1 of this video. Now we'll talk about there are some many types are there. So what are those types? Let's no wasting time. Let's start. So there's simple machines. There are something like inclined plane, okay, wedge, screw, lever, wheel and axle, and pulley. And there's 6 types, there's 6 types of the simple machine. We will go one by one. First we'll talk about lever. Now let's start. We will no wasting time. Let's start. So this is lever. What is lever? It is a very common simple machine. A lever is a rigid bar, straight or band, which is capable of turning about the fixed point called fulcrum. Fulcrum we have already studied. This is a fixed point. Principle of lever is what? Load into load arm is equal to effort into effort arm. The above relation is called the principle of the levers. I think the principle of machine you have already studied, isn't it? And load and effort term you have already got in mechanical advantage. Now we will see what is the mechanical advantage of a lever. Let's see. So mechanical advantage of a lever is what? From the principle of lever, okay, load into load arm equal to effort into effort arm. Then load by effort is equal to effort arm by load arm. But we know what? Mechanical advantage is equal to what was it? The ratio of load and effort, isn't it? So load by effort is ME. Means mechanical advantage. So if mechanical advantage is this, then what will be? In load by effort you put ME. So ME will be effort arm divided by load arm. Okay students. So this is the mechanical advantage of a lever. While doing the problems we will get this term. Usually we will get this term. Next we will talk about the types. Let's see. The types of the lever, there are 3 types. Type 1 lever, type 2, type 3 lever. Now not only type 1, type 2, type 3, there are some difference in these types of lever. So what is the difference? Means the difference you will get here, the point that where is the load, where is the effort or force applied, and where is the fulcrum. So there are 3 types of lever. No wasting time. Let's start. See? These levers, type 1 lever we are talking, these levers have the pivot or fulcrum between the effort, force and the load. So fulcrum will be between here in the midpoint, and other side will be one side load will be there, and other side force. Means force you are giving, the load will be applied there, and fulcrum will be in the middle. So by the examples I think you all can understand what are these. Okay. So next we'll talk about the type 2 lever. That is, these levers have the load between effort and fulcrum. See here. Before fulcrum was in the middle, but now load will be in the middle. One side effort will be there and another side fulcrum will be there. Now see the wheelbarrow. Can you see? Load, you are taking the load there. Effort you are giving with the hand there. And the wheel is a fulcrum. It will move there. Means the wheel is helping us. Okay, the wheel is helping us. So very small effort moves this large load. Many large loads we can move with this effort. And this type of lever reduces the effort which has to be applied to the work. Now see some examples are there. Second class lever means type 2 lever. What are they? Wheelbarrow, hole puncher, stapler, nut cracker, bottle opener, nail creepers and paper cutter. So you all can see that these are the type 2 levers. Next we'll talk about what? The type 3 levers. So these levers have the effort between. Here effort is between. Type 2 load was between. Type 1 fulcrum was between. Here effort is between. Means we will apply the force in the middle. And then load and fulcrum is there. Okay. The first one is what? Can you see? That is the what? The tongs, sugar tongs, okay, or fire tongs in the rest. Means what? The point that is a fulcrum, by hand we will touch in the middle, and the load will be there on the first. That is, it will be the load. Okay, a knife, then a broom, Okay, a fishing, this fishing rod, then our human forearm. So these are the type 3 levers. Okay, students. So there are 3 types we have got. See the difference? Okay. Next we will start the inclined plane. This is also one type of the lever. Inclined plane is a sloping surface which acts as a simple machine whose mechanical advantage is always greater than 1. Okay, it means the answer mechanical advantage value will be always more than 1, greater than 1. Okay, and in inclined plane it is much easier to push the load up the slope and then to lift it vertically to the very small overall height. There is a mechanical advantage equal to the length of the slope divided by the height. So mechanical advantage here is what? Length. What is the length of that slope, and will be divided by the height. The greater the slope, the greater the mechanical advantage will be there. But while saying this definition or this statement, we have to see also. As we are learning physics, there will be calculation. Okay, students? So let's see the calculation. See here. There is a box. We are trying to push it upwards. How much height is there? 4 meter height. And how much distance we have to push it? 12 meter. So here mechanical advantage will be how much? Distance by height. What will be the answer? 12 by 4 means 3. And mechanical advantage has no unit. Always remember this. Mechanical advantage will have no unit because meter will be cancelled here. Okay, no SI unit is there of mechanical advantage. But now students, some homework is for you here. See here. What can you see? One just same I have shown here, that advantage of a ramp is given, okay, of 12 meter and 4 meter long. So if multiple choice questions come, see answer is given here 3, isn't it? Okay, so in this way some questions may arise with you all. Okay, student. Next we'll talk about the screw. So screw is a very simple machine. It is a nail with grooves cut on it, and it consists of winding edge called a thread. The thread you can see there. The thread of the screw is really an inclined plane wrapped around the screw. Like from up to down, it is like an inclined plane. It is easier to drive a screw into a block of wood with a screwdriver. Okay, so this is also a very simple machine. Okay, student. So next we will talk about the wheel and the axle. Okay, so what are the wheel and the axle here? Wheel is one of the earliest and the most important inventions of man. We know this, isn't it? Early man has taken out this at the very early time. The wheel is a circular object capable of rotating along a central rod called the axle. Okay, can you see there? One wheel is there. Like when you play in the, we go no in the places where the children play in the parks and all. So wheel is in the middle, but where it is moving, okay, where it is moving, that is the axle. Where it means the axle is helping it to move it. In the cycle, I think you can see, no? The wheel is there and in the middle there is the axle. So axle is helping it to move. Okay, so a wheel and an axle is really a very kind of continuous lever. A wheel and axle is made up of wheel connected to a rod and which is called the axle. So this is the idea of what? The wheel and the axle. So next we will talk about the wedge. So wedge is what? A device that has 2 or more sloping surface, either in a form of sharp edge or pointed edge. Okay, so wedge you can see here. Can you see the diagram? So in the wedge will be what? That there will be some knives is also fall in that category. It has a sloping surface, but it has a sharp edge, isn't it? Then chisels are there, axes, pins. Okay, pins can you see there? Nail is also there. Okay, so these are the examples of the wedge. Okay, so this is a very simple machine also. Okay, students. So next we'll talk about what? The pulleys. So pulleys are used for lifting the loads vertically. Even a single pulley is useful because it changes the direction of the force. Where you are giving the force? the opposite side, the pulleys will help to lift the load. Okay, so it will change the direction. It is easier to pull downwards than to pull upwards. If you don't have a pulley in your well, then what happens? We pull the bucket upwards. But if you have the pulley in your well, what will happen? It is very easier for us to pull the load. It is a wheel that turns freely about an axis. A pulley is a grooved wheel which is used along with a rope or a chain. So pulleys are very much used to lift the very heavy loads, isn't it? And from the opposite side. Always remember this. So next we will talk about the gears. So what are the gears actually? Why gears are used in our vehicles? Okay, so this is also a continuous lever. Okay, like a wheel and axle, it is also a continuous lever. It can be used as a force magnifier or a distance magnifier. How much force is given there and how much distance is there? Okay, a small wheel has 10 teeth and a large wheel has 20 teeth. Can you see that two wheels are there? One gear 1, 10 teeth, one gear 2, 20 teeth. When the small wheel moves clockwise through one complete turn, the large wheel will move anti-clockwise because it will push. The teeth will push, isn't it? The smaller wheel has to turn twice to turn the large wheel once. So 10 teeth has less and 20 teeth has more area. So when the 10 teeth will move on the clockwise direction, the 20 teeth will also move. But when the 10 teeth will move twice, then only the 20 teeth will move once, full once. Okay. So gear ratio is what? See, T2 by T1 means the number of teeth on driven gear, where it is driven, where it is moved, divided by number of teeth on the driver gear, which will move, which will try to move the other gear. So that is the T1, the first one. Okay, student? So this is the gear ratio. So next we will talk about what? See, the efficiency of the machine. Okay. So efficiency of machine is what we all firstly we got one, isn't it? We got in the efficiency. How much efficiency is 100% efficiency, but only in the ideal machine. So this is the efficiency we have got already, that output work is divided by input work. Okay, but how to take out the efficiency of machine? Let's see here. So the efficiency of machine is what? Output work by input work into 100%. So to calculate the efficiency of a machine, we will divide the output work by the input work and multiply the result by 100%. Then we can say how much efficiency, how much percent of efficiency is there on that machine. But we are talking about machines and machines, okay? Simple machine, complex machine. But we have to take care of them, isn't it? How we will take care? Let's see. So care of the machines, all machines require proper care and maintenance for their efficient and longer use. To be very efficient, very easily used and long use, we have to take care. So how? All machines should be placed in a clean place to keep away from dust, moisture, etc. They should be kept covered when not in use. The moving parts of the machine should be lubricated with a good quality machine oil to reduce the friction, because if you don't give oil, it will not be smooth to move. There will be friction will be there, and slowly what will happen? It will be rusted away. Okay, machines made of iron should be painted to avoid rusting. See, okay, so these are the care of taking the machine. So students, we will stop the chapter here. We have already discussed 2 parts of this chapter. Hope you have liked it. Try to study from before. Everything I have given here with fully described with the pictures. So thank you for contributing with me to the last of this video. Thank you so much. Bye bye.